who are some of hip hop's best and most talented crews to ever grace music. And I know the list is going to be long, guys. And as always, like I said before, man, this goes without saying, if you got some people that are not on our list or people that you think we should have highlighted way more, join the convo on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere that we are on social media, and give us, the list and tell us why. But Q, who are some people you want to highlight, some crews that are legendary in hip hop?
Well, first and foremost, I came up with this topic because Lil Durk and his OTF gang came out with a new album, which y'all should check out. It's very violent, it's very gangster. I don't know how I got through it sane. Matter of fact, I listened to it hiding under my bed. But it had me thinking, like, what are some of the best crews to ever grace the hip hop stage? And so from this list that you and I were able to put together, there was a few notable people. I think if you were talking about the most successful crews, you got to put G Unit on there. But I think the best crew is Young Money. Ooh, you talk about Young Money, think about it. You got Lil Wayne, which at the time, Lil Wayne, when they were at their highest, Lil Wayne was the hottest rapper in the game. And then Drake. We all know about Drake, right? Then Nicki Minaj, which is almost just as hot as those two, if not hotter. And then Tyga. People forget Tyga was on Young Money. And then, you had other people like Chanel, and which at the time people actually cared about, Lil Chucky, J Mills. But Young Money, if you look at it from a selling standpoint, a worth standpoint, that crew was stacked. That crew was really stacked. I mentioned G Unit. What's really funny about G Unit is 50 Cent did his thing. And at the time, Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, we really cared about them a lot. But I would say that their careers, Lloyd Banks and Young Buck, did not get to the point to where I thought it could go. I always felt like they could have been even more popular if they stayed together. But G Unit was very successful at the time that they were doing their, they were at the top of the world. TDE, Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, J Rock. Right now, I think they have probably the most anticipated releases in the game right now. Where if Schoolboy Q says he's dropping something tomorrow, like, we gonna be on it. Kendrick Lamar says they're dropping something tomorrow, we gonna be on it. Remember, SZA is a part of TDE. If SZA says she's dropping something tomorrow, we're gonna be on top of it. So that was a couple that came to my mind as some of the best, some of the most successful. We can't forget about other people like Rockefeller, Murder Inc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will forget about Saint Lunatics though.
Yeah, please do, but respectfully speaking, because they were hot at one point. They were hot.
Nelly, the Saint Lunatics are accusing Nelly of like leaving them be. Nelly was like, y'all stay over there.
I mean, was he wrong for that? I'm just
Murphy Lee was nice. Stop it. Stop.
I'm asking questions. I asked a question.
Not take Murphy Lee slander.
It was a
Murphy
question.
Lee was nice.
My G. By the way, Murphy Lee went like triple platinum or something like that on his album, on his debut album.
I thought Murphy Lee was gonna be great.
Yo, I wanna pivot back though, because like you're right, man. The first crew you mentioned was Young Money, and I think that if we're being realistic and we're being real with ourselves, Young Money has to be the greatest crew. But I do want to mention, respectfully speaking, Cash Money as well, because it's obvious that Wayne came from that. There wouldn't be a Young Money without Cash Money, more than likely. And we cannot forget about what Wayne did prior to starting Young Money. And, that whole, basically, I'll say up to Carter 2, right, is essentially pre-Young Money to me for Wayne. But Juvenile, BG, I know this is like probably going way back than what some of our listeners even know about. But let's not forget, and let's be very clear, guys. Go back and do your Googles. Cash Money Millionaires, from a business standpoint and also from a record sales standpoint, should be respected like as hip hop royalty in terms of groups. You talked about TDE. I don't want to repeat any of that, but just know you're 100% right about everything you said. And I think people do forget about SZA and that she is part of TDE. Like I really don't think that your average people remember that on a regular basis. And let's be clear, one person you also forgot, and maybe you excluded this person on purpose, but Ab Soul. I think Ab Soul is a unicorn. I really do. I think lyrically speaking, Ab Soul is a unicorn. I think if Ab Soul said, yo, I'm dropping my next project in 1 week, I do believe hip hop would go crazy for that. I do. Just because of the fact that he does not drop a lot of music, period, and what he can actually do on the microphone. It was he displayed it perfectly on that song with Russ.
Why does every recently. One of them take a long ass time to make an album? Like every one of them, like it takes Schoolboy Q a long ass time, Kendrick a long ass time. It takes what's the other dude that was barely
drives me
on?
Crazy. Isaiah Rashad, another
Isaiah
one.
Rashad, thank you. I'm like, what? Come on, man! Like it takes y'all all 5 years.
I don't know, but no, that's a good point, man. But I don't know, man. And maybe that's strategy, dude. Maybe it's kind of like the Playboy Cardi effect. Like, go ahead and make people wait till they can't wait no more. And even when they can't wait no more, now they're agitated that they haven't gotten new music from you, that they go back to your old shit and reminisce. I don't know, bro. Like, maybe it's a strategy. But I do want to highlight a couple other crews, though, that deserve to be mentioned, in my opinion. MMG. Now, they're probably not on the same tier as TDE and Young Money and Rockefeller and all these other people that we mentioned. But let's not forget about the impact that Rick Ross had post hustling and how he was able to create a legacy for himself and then craft a crew and bring Meek Mill onto the squad, bring Wale onto the squad. And I think what they did during the height of MMG was extremely underrated. And I think hip hop will forget about MMG's impact, unfortunately, but I think that they did some great things. Also, what QC is doing right now, I believe, is going to go down in history. And I think if they keep up this pace, people are going to remember it for a very long time. Let's not forget about what the Migos were able to accomplish, right? Part of the reason why they were even able to make blasphemous statements talking about we're bigger than the Beatles was because of how hot they were, was because of how scorching flames they were at the height of the Migos era. And you transition that over to what Lil Baby is doing. I will even attribute some of what Cardi B is doing to what the QC label has done. I don't think she's signed to QC per se, but I know she had like a management deal with QC. But I would say what Cardi B has done, at least early on, maybe even up until the point where she is now, was a product of QC management, you know? You talked about it, Rockefeller. Dude, I feel like we could really do deep dives on half of these things that we're saying, but we really don't have the time. So I'm going to reiterate the Rockefeller crew, Murder Inc., what Dreamville is doing deserves to be mentioned 100%.
Let me say
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off, but let me say this.
What's up?
You know what I noticed just looking at this list?
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. The crews that were developed from homies are the ones that are having issues. Think about it, right? Like G Unit started out as 50 Cent, Tony Ayo, their homies, and they broke up. Lloyd Bank, they broke up. You talk about St. Lunatics, like I said earlier. They were friends. They came from St. Louis. They broke up. You talk about who else on this list? Death Row. I mean, you know, everybody just they came up kind of together. They all broke up, but then the people that like MMG, from what I understand, they're still cool. Like Wale, Meek Mill, even though they were acquired. They were like free agents. You know how like in sports they were kind of picked up.
They were acquired, but they definitely had issues. Let's not forget about the tension between.
I mean, but they're still together.
Wale and Meek, they had some tension.
that was nothing. That to me was just like differences. But like they
bro,
still take
bro.
they still repping MMG. They still repping
Apparently,
it.
apparently that beef was about Meek Mill being upset that Wale didn't post his album or something stupid like
Meek
that.
Mill beefs with
I'm just
everybody.
saying.
Meek Mill was beefing with everybody, so that's why I said that was nothing. But
Exactly. I know.
but
I'm 100% agree with that.
it's interesting though, like to see that like a lot of these, which is kind of sad, like a lot of Odd Future were homies, like they were all cool. They skating together. They broke up.
Yeah.
YBM Demir and YBM Almighty J. I mean, I think they still YBN, but they broke up. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of diplomats, right? Jim Jones and Cameron go
Yo,
back.
we actually forgot. We forgot that on the list.
Impact on hip hop. Diplomats impact on hip hop.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not.
They're my favorite. They're my favorite.
Exactly. You just took the words right out of my mouth.
They're my favorite.
You remember how I was in high school, man? They ran everything during, I would say, the mid 2000s, bro. They ran it.
Thugs were wearing pink. Thugs were in pink outfits, like not even like borderline pink. They were like pink, and then that was cool.
Hey,
did that.
Hey, look. Thugs are doing all types of shit these days. A young thug himself, the one who's he has thug in his name, wears dresses.
Hey, you wearing pink right now. You wearing pink.
Oh,
this is scam.
And I'm not a thug.
Actually, you did slap somebody the other day, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, wasn't it you?
Hey,
I think I slapped you.
What's that Dirk line? We ain't gonna talk about that. Anyway, what about some of the over?
Yeah. No, go ahead. I was thinking of the Tory Lanez line where he was dissing Chance the Rapper. He's like, Chance the Rapper, too irrelevant. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll replace that line with my shit is looking heaven sent.
Anyway,
but
yeah, what's up?
What about overrated? What are some of the crews that you felt like maybe people popped up and they didn't live up to expectations?
Yeah, so man, this hurts me to say this because this person is a legend in every right, but I do firmly believe that OVO, the collective of OVO, what Drake has developed, October's very own, has been extremely underwhelming, and they have underachieved as a collective. And what I mean by that is not in terms of record sales, because it's clear that like when it comes to that type of stuff, what Drake has done can make up the record sales of like your average crew, if not your top crew. But I just mean from a talent standpoint, they have Vizion on the staff. Vizion, to me, we talked about on the last episode, is so they're criminally underappreciated. It pisses me off, right? Roy Woods, to me, is a talented artist. It's remains to be seen how big of an artist he can be, but I do believe they have talent on their roster. They are underachieving overall. Another one that's maybe not as controversial, We the Best. Khaled obviously developed that. Ace Hood was the flagship artist on that at the height of We the Best. They tried to bring on Kent, what's his name? Kent Jones. Remember that dude named Kent Jones?
I remember
he telling me this.
Yeah.
You telling me that?
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah, but We the Best never really materialized into the brand that was being sold to us, in my opinion. And then probably the last one I want to mention is Wiz Khalifa's Taylor Gang. I feel like at the height of Wiz Khalifa, when he had Chevy Woods on the crew, he had he even brought on Juicy J as a cast member on that whole label for Taylor Gang. I just feel like that could have been bigger than what it was, but unfortunately, it did not materialize into something bigger. And for that, those are my top ones that I feel like mentioning right now that to me never really grew into what they could have been.
Did you say when you said We the Best, did you mention Ace Hood?
Of course I did.
Which I want to say something. How many of these labels or crews mismanaged artists? That's the biggest thing. A lot of these crews mismanage artists, and I think We the best, maybe. If you were to put DJ Khaled on a lie detector test, he'll probably say that, yeah, I could have did a little better with how I managed Ace Hood and them. And that's why I want to bring up a label that people are going to probably be like, what are you talking about? But let me explain myself, because it's really about mismanagement. Bad Boy. So if you look at Bad Boy in the 90s, the early 90s, I'm going to name these people. I'm going to name all these people that were on Bad Boy at the time. Biggie, Faith Evans, Total, 112, Mace, Deluxe, which consisted of Jadakiss, Chic Luch, Styles P, Legends, Shine, Black Rob, Foxy Brown, apparently. Wow. Think about what they've done the last 20
G
years.
Dep. G Dep.
Let's say we can say G Dep.
Hey, you forgot Loon.
Black Rob, Loon. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say anything, but the heavy hitters, let's just say the ones that had like major hits, I just named initially, right?
All right.
A lot of the people left because of mismanagement. A lot of people left because they said they couldn't get royalties. They said that their relationship with Puff was whatever, blah, 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 blah. Bad Boy could have been so much better. And in the last couple of years, remember, Bad Boy in the last couple of years picked up French Montana, Machine Gun Kelly. They picked up the band. Remember the band? All these people with crazy potential. But I just feel like they weren't able to maximize their abilities. So, like, for me, yes, the first 8-9 years of Bad Boy's existence was amazing. The last 20 have been pretty bad. So that's one to me where the potential was really there, but I don't know. They didn't really live up to it, which hurts me because I really love Puff Daddy. I really love a lot of people in that crew. Boys in the Hood, remember them with Jeezy? Jeezy was on there.
Bro, they had Bad Boy South. The Bad Boy was so strong. They had a whole another brand. Reminds me of another label, Cash Money. Look at the mismanagement that they've had from artists complaining and saying, yo, like, I didn't get my fair share of pay. Wayne, the cornerstone, the bedrock of what Cash Money ultimately turned out to be, which branched out to Young Money. Even Wayne himself talking about, yo, where's my money? Right? Imagine going to your dad, right? Which Birdman is, his stepdad. That's not his biological. Saying, yo, where's my $30 million, bruh? Where? I need it now. But you can't do anything because that's your dad. What you gonna do? Sue him? These are two dudes who have kissed on camera. These are two dudes he's made songs talking about, I'm stunting like my daddy. It's clear that he loves this man unconditionally, but yet he owes him $30 to $40 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's the height of mismanagement in terms of money.
Which mainly, especially when Lil Wayne's pretty much your cash cow. Like, Lil Wayne at the time, at a certain point, Lil Wayne was carrying Cash Money.
Absolutely.
So, I get that. I don't know. Listen, that's above my pay grade to figure out what happened there.
Bro, but listen, it's all speculation. If you engage in all that, that's chatty patty behavior. That's chitter chatter. That's speculatory speculation.
I do feel like they could have been managed a little better.